Hello, everybody. This is Erin Cruz. I know I haven't spoken to many of you in a very long time, it seems like. I'm coming to you this morning because there have been a lot of changes. People are asking many questions. What are we going to do about our social media platform, about being able to stay connected with conservatives and patriots? So with all the movement, we are on Parler. We are also on Telegram. You can see the link in my bio to get that information, to follow us there. If you want to sign up for our email blast, we don't spam you. We'll send occasional updates out. erincruz.com, erincruz.com is where you will go for that. There are a lot of changes. This morning we found out that Stripe, one of the main backroom providers for fundraising for all different party platforms and candidates, has pulled President Trump's fundraising efforts. That would mean any future fundraising efforts and all of that. What do I mean by backroom? So you might have CrowdPack, or you might have Rev or another platform. Well, the back room is where all of the data is collected and put in a format and a package that can be uploaded easily to the FEC, and the data is very seamlessly integrated. So this is a big deal. They make a lot of money too off of these fundraising transactions, some of these providers, and then also Stripe, the backroom provider. So this is a big deal. This means that like providers like CrowdPack, who had pulled, I had warned of this years ago, CrowdPack pulled our campaign when I was running against United States Senator Dianne Feinstein. They pulled ours, and they actually used Stripe in the background. Of course, Stripe didn't pull anything, but now we're seeing the backdoor room is pulling. So we're seeing a full-on push to censor nearly half of the American people, and certainly half of the voters here in the United States of America, from hearing our president, from supporting financially our president, for any current campaign. Maybe he has bills or other things he needs to pay for this last election, whatever that might be. This is a big deal. And it doesn't just stop there. We're seeing this rollout of social media censorship. Of course, we've seen this for over 3 years in our campaigns, all 3 of them for United States Senate. The first recall of Gavin Newsom that I started and ran, and then my run for United States Congress. We are seeing the rollout of browsers, entire mega giants, who are now effectively showing their monopoly power, if you will. They have now worked together. I mean, and this goes deep. They've now not just taken their monopoly power, but they've taken their monopoly power and coordinated with other monopoly powers and effectively shut out 80 million people at least from being able to have access to information. And how deep will this go? This could go very deep, everybody. This could be going very deep, and it's going much quicker than what had originally been estimated. And so this means that if you're using any kind of searching platform like a browser like Firefox, which is what we're seeing, Firefox, Safari, all of these guys, they could effectively, all of them, shut off our ability to use them, search engines. And then what's next? How deep are we going to go? We've got the Apple, the Google, who've already thugged, I call it a thugocracy. They've thugged out Parler, singled out Parler, when Parler's been very clear about the fact that they are not conservative. They are constitutionalist, and they've done so because of just one perspective, one view. And, you know, it's interesting to watch the left, the radical left, say, well, you know, it's their platform, it's their thing, you know, it's their business, they can decide. Well, this is something that's, the fact that you're saying, well, that's okay, think about what you're really saying. It's very dangerous what is happening. What other entities will join We've already seen some patriots who've been blocked out of banks, Citibank, different fundraising account platforms, including PayPal and others. How deep will this go, and what kind of coordinated effort would be done on that level to block out? There's no limit. Block out who? Whoever they decide, whoever they deem is not worthy of using their services. And this reminds me of my family. Half of my family escaped the Holocaust. Of course, not all of them made it. Very sad, but the dial-up, and I'm not saying the Holocaust will happen, I'm saying the dial-up to what happened overseas was massive propaganda influencing, and that's what we've seen over the last 14 years, a tick up of that, and then not just the propaganda, but then the unification and the shunning of certain groups. I've noticed over the last week that the left, the radical left, the media, the politicians, many of them are saying Trump supporters. They're putting everyone in one bucket because of a few people. And they're putting President Trump in a situation where they're saying that President Trump has caused all of what we've seen right now. I'm going to tell you, President Trump is not the one who's been in Congress for 40 years. President Trump was in office for 4 years. The people were calling for election integrity well before the president really brought it up and made it an issue. We've seen election integrity issues all the way back to 2016, 2018, and the secretaries of state are very voter fraud and election fraud. They don't exist. That's really the position they seem to take. And the people have made a coordinated effort on the ground. I know here in the state of California to support organizations for election integrity. And it's not about left or right on this issue. This is neutral. We need strong, fair, free elections with integrity. We do not want to be like a third world country where there's mass chaos in the streets after every election. Tearing down of entire economies like we've seen in Venezuela and other countries. It's very, very dangerous what's going on. So calling for election integrity is not an issue. Patriots going up to the Capitol, people who want to support the president, that's a million of them. You know, that's not an issue. What's an issue is when an entire group of people like the Congress decide to take a few people and say that those people represent millions, 80 million. Those people, what one person did, what a handful of people did, represents everybody else and represents the president. We have individual liberty. We have the ability to make decisions and choices on our own. We cross the line of impeding on someone else's liberty, infringing on someone else's liberty. That's where the buck stops here, folks. And I think that this is the thing, is that wherever you stand on the issue of what happened, what I can tell you is this, is that the fact that President Trump is being blamed for someone else's actions because in some way they believe that he inflamed the issue. I'll tell you, the entire Congress is who inflamed the issue. People in the Congress were not listening to the constituency. The constituency said, we want you to object. In Georgia, Arizona, all of these places, we want you to object to the vote. And, you know, let the voices be heard on the issues. And if it turns out that it's not votable, then it's not votable. That's why we have the Electoral College. That's why we have these systems in place. But unfortunately, the Congress did not listen to the people. The Congress didn't want to hear the people. They didn't respect the people, and especially Republicans who know that Republicans and conservatives and even independents who joined in libertarians and others, and even Democrats who joined in voting on the Republican ballot for President Donald Trump and other candidates, they knew, especially in these states, that the people wanted their voice to be heard, and they wanted them to object and at least hear the case for what happened in each one of these states, and then, you know, the decision can be made. And they did not do that. And this sparked anger in the hearts of Americans. Whether they did and took actions or not, Americans are angry. They're very angry. They're frustrated because they don't feel like they have representation up in Washington, D.C. by their elected officials. It does not excuse acts of violence against others. I'm not saying that that is excusable. In no way is taking action and violence against others all right. Here's the deal, though. Congress many of them have been in office for decades, some longer than I have been alive. And so when we look at Congress blaming President Trump for what's happening, they need to think long and hard about their approval rating over the last decade or more. 10, 11% approval rating, Congress. So reality is this. We have a hostile Congress right now. Many Republicans might vote to impeach President Donald Trump on grounds which I believe are fabricated in an effort to distract and detract. Why do they want to impeach? There are several reasons why they want to impeach President Donald Trump. One is stated that if he's impeached the second time by the House, by the Senate, and then the Senate then rules for him not to be able to hold any other federal office, that he then won't be able to run for re-election. And, you know, I find it very interesting that this Congress is so hostile against a man who's never been in politics before, never run for public office and won, that he's never been a governor or a senator or a congressman or anything else. And he's been in office for 4 years. We saw one of the strongest economies. We saw massive trade in favor of the American people. We saw minorities be reached out to, blacks, Asians, Hispanics, you name it. And this president worked hard to unify, despite the fact that he had an entire media conglomerate against him and an entire megaphone of Congress against him. And, you know, this is the deal. We have to look at who's been in office and driving this conversation. It's always divide. It's always, we can't fund the government. We need to, emergency. But no, we got to argue about immigration reform. Emergency. We have to argue about abortion. Emergency. We have to argue about this issue or that issue or this issue or that issue. Rather than them actually incrementally doing their job and serving the American people over the last 40 years, some of them. So you have a man who's been in office for 4 years, and they're not happy. They're not happy that he's brought a lot of clarity to the situation, and there are those who are outspoken against this pushback against free speech and other things. I can tell you that we don't have full transparency, and we need it. And to push for that is important. But I think what's also important is that you keep your heads on straight, that you stay balanced, show resolve, and be resolute. You know, I'm seeing a lot of divide and oh, the GOP is dead to me. I'm going to talk about party right now. The GOP is dead to me. The GOP is dead to me. I'm going to tell you, my great-great-great-great-grandfather, okay, he came to this country, he immigrated here, he ended up in Philadelphia, he stayed there for a year, saved up enough money, and he went and he moved just south of Chicago and bought some land. He was a farmer, and he did not like what he was seeing. Of course, he's a U.S. citizen, and he did not like what he was seeing. Slavery. This was the issue of the day. and he was part of the founding of the Republican Party in Illinois, National Republican Party, and they put forth President Abraham Lincoln. And Abraham Lincoln won. First Republican president, first nominated Republican for president. Republicans are fighters. The party platform is strong. The party platform is strong. The principles, everything that supports the party is strong. What the issue is there are people within the party that are weak. And I'm going to say it again. There are people within the party that are weak. And we've seen this in the Democrat Party. We've seen the Democrats allow their party to be taken over by progressive communist Marxists. And they're weak. Why did they allow their party to be taken over by these radicals? So now we've seen a lot of those individuals leave and they're partnering with Republicans, and we're seeing this transition change, and everybody's saying, oh, well, these Republicans are horrible. Well, I'll tell you, we need to look at this before you just start going and saying we're going to start another party. In California, we have 4 million and change, just say high 4 million and change Republican voters. We have high 4 million and change no party preference voters. We have almost, 8 million Democrat voters. You will not win. Well, no, we'll bring all the Republicans over. Then what, if you can't work within the party and get involved and influence, get involved in your central committees, get involved on the ground, get involved in the party, and change the party from within, meaning stand up for the principles and values that the party was founded on. How in the world are you going to start another party and form that party to make sure that it's strong? Because the people from this other party are going to go over there. If you can't work with what you currently have, changing and just starting something new is not going to fix the root issue. And certainly in politics, where the radical left has completely made a huge machine, I want to ask, who is starting this let's start a new party thing? Because the only people that benefits is not we the people. It's the radical left and a mega party of Democrats. That's who that benefits. So my suggestion, I've worked very hard over the last 3 years to get involved in my community, obviously, and work with the people and ask people to get involved. And people just want to back out. Well, you know what? If that's the attitude, nowhere, doesn't matter where you go, are you going to be happy and make change? We have to be strong. We have to be determined. We have to be focused. And in fact, it's more important now than ever to really buckle down, get involved. And I believe that place to get involved is the Republican Party. That, you can't say the GOP is horrible. Well, I am the GOP, and I've been working very hard for a long time to work with people to, encourage people to stick to the party platform, the values that were imparted at the founding of the Republican Party, and values my own great-great-great-great-grandfather that he helped work to put in place. So I'm hoping you understand what I'm saying by that. I'm not saying that people shouldn't organize. I'm not saying that what I'm saying is that I don't think it's the smartest move, especially when you have a mega party like the radical Democrat, left has. And so think about that. Think about it long and hard. It's easy just to throw it out there. It's easy just to go with the wind. It's easy just to say, yeah. When the going gets tough, what's going to happen? People are going to go to the next best thing and the next best thing and the next best thing. Steady, steady, steady. Be steady and be strong. And then that comes into another thing. Folks, over the next few days, we're going to see Congress take some actions, and there may be some situations that arise. Show resolve. Be strong, facts, not fear, faith, not fear, freedom, not fear, and unite with your fellow man. talk to your family, talk to your friends, stay connected, stay as connected as you can. We just added Telegram. Link is up in my bios. I don't know how long we'll be on Twitter. I've been pretty much just been outspoken, and they take me down, but I'm not leaving. You know, my family escaped the Holocaust. They came here, many of them, for opportunity and freedom. And, you know, my great-great-great-great-grandfather, you know, he fought for what he believed in. And this great place called the United States of America, where people have come from all over the world for opportunity, for liberty, for freedom, to worship as they see fit, to communicate how they see fit. It's too precious. So I'm not going to be getting off of Twitter until I'm forced off Twitter or other platforms. We'll just have to see how that goes. For now, we are on Rumble. I just started our account. We are also on Telegram. We are on Parler. We'll have to see what goes down with that. I heard that Parler is now suing some of these big conglomerate monopolies. So we'll see what happens there. But be prepared. The ideology that's being pushed by our Congress is extremely reminiscent of the Nazi Germany era. Fascism, intimidation through bullying, through suppression, through force and different types of controls, fear, that's the big one. It's very dangerous what our Congress is doing. And so be strong. Don't give up. Know that I'm here. There are many, many patriots of all colors, meaning there are a lot of Democrats, Republicans, independents, libertarians, you name it, people who love liberty, who are seeing what's going on right now and are fed up. And so know that you are not alone. You are never alone, that this shutdown, the pandemic that's happening right now, I'm not saying there's no virus, but the pandemic that's happening right now, full and complete shutdown, people in mass everywhere, you know, all of this, it's designed to keep you, one, controlled, two, in a fear state. So stay strong, stay united, and know you are not alone, that there are many of us out here. We're right here standing together. We may not be in the same room, but we're right here standing together, and we're Americans. We're Americans, United States citizens, and no matter your backstory, no matter your family's backstory and how they came here and were able to participate in this beautiful thing called the United States of America, we're blessed. We're blessed they came here. We're blessed you came here and that you are here and that we're all here together. So stand firm, stand up, and don't give up. And also don't give in to the hate. Don't give in to that negativity. Rise above. I want to say God bless each one of you. God bless California, and God bless the United States of America. Take care.